Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. Tom has been accused of using the N-word multiple times in private conversations, including these screenshots of texts that are alleged to be real.
Yo, shout out, boys!
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening
Calling all red-pilled alpha males. We are under attack. The ship that is the Tom Dark channel. All the Patriots aboard it. Our lives are in danger. We've had some cannons fired at us from a fellow YouTuber by the name of In Praise of Shadows. This guy right here.
I feel like a hot dog.
What is this color grading, my guy?
In a desperate attempt to make Wendigoon look bad for being friends with me, this overweight loser described me as a gun YouTuber who's been accused of threatening
diddling unwantedly.
He's friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening.
Needless to say, we're in for a pretty funny video.
Just look at it. Just look at it. Yeah, well, what the heck is that?
So this dude, In Praise of Shadows, who we'll be calling Gabe for the duration of this video, because, I mean, just look at the guy. No offense to any Gabes in my audience, okay? I love you guys. Actually, what a weird name.
Get that changed, bro.
It turns out his name is actually Zane. But we're gonna call him Gabe anyway, because it's funny.
He posted a 3-hour-long video titled Bad Conservative Horror Movies, and it's getting some serious buzz right now, because in it, he called out me and some of my friends, namely Wendigoon and Brandon Buckingham, but it's also 3 hours long, and the title is, you know, like you can see there, about horror movies, so it seems kind of out of left field, right? Well, nothing can prepare you for this video, to be honest, so go grab your Fent card, because this is gonna be insane. So the first 2 hours and 44 minutes of the video are about how he, like, went to a horror movie convention that had Kevin Spacey there, and I guess he thinks conservatives can't make horror movies or good art or something. To be honest with you, I skimmed a lot of that part because it's 3 hours long, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not watching this dweeb talk for that long without being paid, okay? I'm live every week on this channel, by the way, so I probably will try to watch the rest of it if I can get through it, but that's not really the part that's pertinent to me. At 2 hours and 44 minutes, all of a sudden, there's this title card that says, Wendigoon.
If you're not aware, Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers that, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern-friendly dad persona that he has publicly constructed around himself in the past several years.
Wendigoon is not wholesome Chungus anymore, guys. We're done with this guy. I mean, just look at him. Look at his face. You're telling me a guy that looks like that doesn't have 1,000 tons of thermite in his basement? Didn't think so, buddy.
Didn't think so.
I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire who got famous around the age of 19.
Why is this dude so condescending? Like, I'm sorry, bro, but bro, like, Brandon was right. Look at yourself. Look at your face, bro. Look at your body. Just because Wendigoon has money, and I guess you don't, doesn't mean what he has to say is worthless. I mean, if you want to say, oh, he's just a YouTuber, why do I listen to a YouTuber? Like, whatever, go for it. YouTuber cringe, I get it, you know, you don't need a college degree for YouTube. But frankly, this guy is not in any position to say anything about that because he also is just a pretentious dweeb on YouTube who makes videos based on his own personal interests and tastes. Like, he's not any tier above Wendigoon or anyone else for that matter.
What I'm talking about here pertains to the very act of writing itself, and with that, perspective. And I don't know if you can actually really truly be a good cultural critic with a voice that has a definitive perspective without several years of genuine, independent, lived experience away from the home that you were raised in.
No, this is like a decent, somewhat interesting point to an extent. I'll give him this. There's a discussion to be had about this, right? Because I think having more life experience rather than less is good for, you know, analyzing media. It helps your beliefs be more well-rounded. It gives you a better base of knowledge for critiquing and analyzing media. You have more knowledge about whatever's going on in the world. You've met more people, so you just are a more worldly person with experiences that will make you more interesting to give commentary on things, right? But as this dude himself says, he hasn't really even watched a lot of Wendigoon, and he refuses to because apparently Wendigoon is rich and has money, so that's just like, that's too far. If you yourself can't even critically engage with the thing you're criticizing enough to watch it, like, why would you expect anyone in Wendigoon's audience to listen to what you have to say? Frankly, in my opinion, the thing that makes Wendigoon's videos so good is not because of his unique perspective and his lived life experiences. It's because he's like a Mensa level, you know. Look, I'm just gonna say, I think he's like a high IQ person. Like, he's a pretty smart guy. And because of that, he remembers a lot of things. He does a lot of reading. He has a lot of different knowledge to pull from, which makes his videos interesting because he's read everything. I'm not saying that, you know, he's like the best critic of content of all time, of books, of these stories of all time, but his videos are just well-rounded because he does his research and he has an interesting perspective in the way that he has a lot of knowledge about what he talks about. That's what makes him special. It's not because he's lived 40 years in the coal mines and now he's finally making YouTube videos.
Wendigoon was raised in a very wealthy family, and with that comes from a wealthy perspective. He himself has inadvertently admitted that his family at one point had millions of dollars. There are some works that fundamentally will not be understood by you if you are wealthy and have always been upper class your entire life.
I think this guy just doesn't like rich people. Is he broke or something? Like, I'm not trying to pocket watch him, but Kowalski, enhance, analysis real quick, okay? Hacking the mainframe. Hacking the mainframe.
There was a month last year where I only made $500 in ad revenue. I'm broke! I can't live off that. I've barely been able to keep this afloat. I've paid my rent late most months for the past year.
Oh, so he does just have no money, and that's like why he's mad. And he's mad at people who do have money. I mean, look, man, I'm sorry you've fallen on hard times, okay? But just because you're poor, it doesn't mean you're a better person or more interesting. Like, you can easily make thousands and thousands of dollars a month on YouTube. Figure it the f out. And also, what the hell is he wearing? Like, he thinks he's in Red Dead Redemption, when in reality, he's Timmy Turner maxing right now.
Timmy Turner.
And in his case, he became exceptionally wealthy by the time that he was 19 or 20. And so if you leave the home and immediately become famous and rich, without having to ever actually truly struggle, can you be considered to have ever actually had lived experience at all that would qualify you to give criticism on works of art?
I mean, the thing is, like, maybe. You don't know him at all. Like, you don't know anything about his background. All you know is that he's a YouTuber. That's literally all you know. All you know is that he makes YouTube videos. You don't know anything about his personal life. You have no idea what he's been through. You don't. And on top of that, you don't need to be poor to make good videos on YouTube, like you, okay? I'm sorry you can't pay rent, but this comes across as extremely resentful. It really does.
When he said once on stream, "Would you believe me that when my dad was young, he used to be in an organized crime gang and is now a Sunday school teacher? Very wild life that guy's lived. He was in an organized crime gang that my grandfather ran. A lot of bad things went down. They got investigated by the FBI. My grandpa went to jail. My dad had to testify and tried to take up the business. The business fell apart, and he ended up losing millions of dollars to the state. Lost everything, found God, became a Christian, and is now both the best man and the best Christian I've ever met."
Well, guys, I have some inside knowledge on this, okay? Wendigoon is actually still involved in organized crime, okay? The Patriarch of Crime family from Rhode Island is alive and well, and Wendigoon is at the head of it, but he moved a small portion of it, okay? He's a capo. He moved a small portion of it down to the south. He's running a small division called the Gooner Mafia. Now, this is not like a normal loan sharking operation, okay? What they do is they edge you, and they edge you, and they edge you, and they edge you. Just as you're about to goon, just as you're about to bust, because you've been a good boy. You deserve to goon. Come, I mean, look, yes, you in specific, okay? You've been a good boy. You deserve to goon. And just when you're about to goon, they strap a chastity belt to your cock and they don't let you come.
You'll never goon.
His name is Wanna Goon, but you will never goon. You'll always want to, but you'll never actually goon. His name should be Never Goon. That's what's up. Oh my God. Oh my gooner. I don't know what came over me. But on a real note, he never really says how this point connects to the broader thesis he has about how someone with like a limited lived perspective who's wealthy can't critique media about poor people. But I would argue even bringing this up makes his point weaker. Now, I don't know all of Wendigoon's family lineage despite being friends with him. I don't know, every single little thing. I'm not interviewing him right now to get a perspective and, understand his entire family lineage. So I could be wrong, but I'm going off as much information as this guy is. So in my opinion, if anything, to have ancestors who were involved with crime makes your perspective unique and interesting on these issues. Not because you support their actions or you like what they did, but because you have an understanding that people can become corrupted by the promise of money and power, and they can do things that they otherwise wouldn't do in extreme situations. I don't know if you're unaware, Gabe, but organized crime typically is not birthed out of super wealthy people. It's typically birthed out of poverty, and people organize together in these impoverished neighborhoods to form organized crime, gangs, the mafia, whatever you want to call it. They come together, they organize to make money off of illegal activity. And they're making money off illegal activity because they can't make enough through legal means. Otherwise, they wouldn't be involved in crime. So while Wendigoon may have money because he's a YouTube gooner, somewhere in his family lineage, just like everyone else, he didn't have money. His family didn't have money. And generations ago, they decided to turn to organized crime to make that money. So if anything, because he has this knowledge of some of his family history and he has some, knowledge base he can pull from, he has a more unique perspective than anyone who doesn't. Someone being rich can make them a genuinely uninteresting person, undoubtedly. Like, you guys have seen it happen before. A lot of YouTubers, they get rich, they become unrelatable assholes. But Wendigoon is not that. He hasn't become vapid and shallow with making a bunch of YouTube money in the past few years. Believe it or not, you can be cool, interesting, well-read, knowledgeable, informed, armed and make good content even though you're a millionaire. Like, some of my favorite directors have millions and millions of dollars. It doesn't mean that they're like shitheads, right? They make good stuff.
There are many things that are red flags that we could talk about, from the bizarre gun ownership, the flagrant use from my perspective of his religion as a shield from criticism, to the belief that he at one point followed many far-right accounts on Twitter, from Kyle Rittenhouse to Parler, the social media website where the January 6th insurrection was in part planned. People said, oh, he only followed them, but that doesn't mean that he agrees with them.
Boys, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's time to drop Wendigoon, okay? He follows people on Twitter. I'm disassociating. I disavow! It's time to get him. He was trying to red pill the normies the whole time, all along. You can see it. I mean, look. He's an agent of Dark Brandon's agenda. He has Q's phone number on his Nokia phone. He talks to Q every day about what to do. You guys know you can follow people on Twitter without agreeing with them, right? I follow gay stars doesn't mean I'm gay. Okay. Well, I guess to be consistent, I'll agree with that. Like, I think I probably follow Elon Musk on Twitter, and I don't super love Elon Musk, but like, he's a famous person. I want to hear what he has to say, regardless of that. I follow both Destiny and Nick Fuentes on Twitter, two people who hate each other, and there's no way I could agree with everything they say about each other, or even everything or anything they say all the time. Like, that's impossible. I just follow them because I want to see their tweets, and that's all that it means to follow someone on Twitter. It doesn't mean it's a endorsement or a blood pact. Wendigoon has never made a video about politics, by the way. Like, he's never made a video where he takes a strong stance on politics, apart from not liking like the ATF, I guess, or the FBI or the CIA, which is stuff that leftists believe too, by the way.
But there are screenshots of tweets that may have been deleted. They clearly, in my mind, show a support to Rittenhouse. Although, since I did not take these screenshots, they do have to be taken with a grain of salt.
Well, I don't know if he made those tweets, but Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty. He did act in self-defense. The court determined that. So, like, what the f do you want? What is the problem here? I really don't get it. What any of this has to do with horror movies, I don't think is ever truly explained, but I guess we'll just have to keep watching to find out more about it. But this is one of the worst videos I've seen in a while, I will say that.
We could talk about his past and supposedly being a founding member in an online conspiracy theory group that, according to him, snowballed out of control into being a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization called the Boogaloo Boys. His online username at the time was Boogaloo Boy, and he claims to be the first to have started using it, but that he left the group and became Wendigoon after things started to get out of hand.
I really wish there were like sources cited for this right now. I think this guy is just not great at writing stuff, so he kind of likes to make a claim and then talk about it for 10 minutes and bloviate to himself before providing a source. But if you're gonna make an accusation this strong, you should probably have a lot to back it up, like a lot. And it better not just be like a screenshot of a comment. And even outside of that, okay, you're saying he joined a group chat and then when it became extremist, he left. When it got crazy, he left. Isn't that what you should want him to do? Wow. So that sounds like he did the right thing then, right? Right? It's like, oh, he knew some people online, they turned out to be crazy, so he stopped hanging out with them.
And this is not a conspiracy theory in itself. Shockingly, he literally has said so in writing. As you'll see, he was just like, oh geez, sorry guys, about starting a violent hate group, guys. Sorry that people got killed. I totally didn't mean to do all that. My bad. I'll do better next time.
So now this dude is claiming, literally directly claiming that Wendigoon got people killed. He's claiming that he got people murdered. Are you going to show anything strong to back up that claim? Like maybe DM messages where he's like, yeah, go get the president.
I'm actually out here in nature because I've determined that Magic Spoon...
Get down, Mr. President! No!
Oh, that doesn't exist, does it? Because he apparently left the group chat, like you say, when it got too crazy and he didn't want to be involved anymore. What the f do you want him to do? He didn't do anything wrong. He was in a group chat when he was a teenager. Fuck off.
Also, it should be noted that the Boogaloo Boys are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts. And guess who else always has on a Hawaiian shirt, despite the fact that he publicly totally does not share in their beliefs, guys.
Realistically, to prove that this guy started a hate movement and is a part of it and directly led to people dying and political violence or just domestic terrorism, you need to have pretty dead to rights proof. And to make the argument that he still or at any point believes in any of that you need to have something stronger than he wears Hawaiian shirts.
It would make me look like I still believed in their cause, and that I just couldn't talk about it because people would publicly get mad at me. If I accidentally started a hate terrorist organization, I wouldn't rebrand as a horror YouTuber the next year.
Yeah, I think this guy's just a fucking moron.
I'm just saying that if at the very least I, in any way whatsoever, somehow accidentally, inadvertently, started a hate group, I wouldn't continue to still dress like them if it were me.
Bro, it's a Hawaiian shirt. It's a goddamn shirt. If he was dressing up in full SS get up every day like me, I mean, I would understand, I would understand the criticism, there's no defending that. But it's the Boogaloo Boys. They're not the first people to wear Hawaiian shirts, and they won't be the last.
By the time he would have made his Boogaloo Boy username, the word would have already had a near decade of being entrenched into the deepest layers of alt-right internet radicalized extreme racism.
Alt-right internet radicalized extreme racism. Well, I'm glad that you're an expert on this because you read a article, okay? But frankly, I think you don't know what the you're talking about.
Which to me just kind of seems like he enjoys taking the credit for that.
What the fuck are you? Why would he enjoy taking the credit for that? He's a public figure. He's a YouTuber. Why would a YouTuber want to take credit for starting some kind of radical hate group? That's not what he did at all. The guy does some more yapping, trying to make the argument that Wendigoon is the originator of a violent domestic terrorist organization. Like he actually believes this, which is, insane. When literally all that Wendigoon apparently did was post memes in group chats a few years ago. Boring. So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. Let's talk about me because I'm a narcissist and I love myself.
In my opinion, there is a regular pattern of behavior there, from supporting Rittenhouse to having multiple ties to other far-right extremist figures.
Multiple far-right extremist figures. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions, and I've seen online mentions that Tom was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited.
Some people may not know, I was actually the officiator of the wedding. I was the minister that married them. You know, I made them say their vows. I made them pray to Skibidi. I made them pray to the Edge gods. I made them, you know, pray to the Ohio gods because it did take place in Ohio. It was in Cincinnati, in a small town called Goonville, and that's where the wedding took place. I'm just saying, I was the officiator of the wedding. I ran the whole thing. Without them, Wendigoon, he came to me. He called me on the phone. He said, "Hey Tom, I know we just got done in our Boogaloo Boy group chat, but I just want to say I'd love you to be the officiator of my goon wedding." And I said, "Yeah, man, I'll help you out. Should I bring the clan hoodies?" And he said, "Yes, you should bring that." And I said, "Okay, I'll pull up soon." Do you, Wendigoon, take her as your lawfully wedded wife on Jaw, on Phantom Tax, and on Skibidi? And she said yes. She said yes. By the Edge gods, I do. By Ohio law. And I said, by the law of Kai Cenat, I declare you Livy Dunn and Baby Gronk. And they kissed.
Tom has been accused of using the N-word multiple times in private conversations, including these screenshots of texts that are alleged to be real.
Bro, okay, I'm sorry. Put some f***ing respect on my name, okay? You spent 3 hours working on this video, and you can't even do me the honor. Accused of saying the N-word? I mean, like, I'm not making myself look better here to you, but I'm not gonna lie. Is it really an accusation if it's true? Like, you can easily find this on YouTube, you lazy. You can just look it up and easily see it. You can watch the D'Angelo Wallace video from years ago where it's like clearly confirmed to be real. Like, do you just not know how to do research on anything? It's a 3-hour video. How'd you get this wrong? Put some respect in my name, okay?
I ain't gonna say it no more.
You can't even call me racist the right way, okay? Listen, I am from the hood. I am like that. I am, you know, on Phonum Grave, I am like that. And frankly, I can say it. Look at the pigment.
And he's also been accused of saying that the upper tiers of his Patreon were intended for Jews with deep pockets.
Okay, in fairness, I can't believe I said that. In fairness, I didn't have a Patreon at the time. I didn't. That being said, if any Jews with deep pockets that are watching me now want to become members on my channel, I would appreciate that very, very much.
Wendigoon is publicly connected to the Internet Historian and has even appeared in his videos. The Internet Historian publicly said that his birthday was April 20th. It is not. And has only said that as a joke because that is Hitler's birthday.
Bro. So what? Who cares? It's a meme. 420, bro. Yeah. Ooh. This shit got me geeking, bruh. Uber Eats. Can I guess a 420 blaze this in chat for Internet Historian? I hear he's a big fan of that.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Donut Operator, and even retweeted a photograph of the two of them hugging. Donut Operator is a gun-crazed, very far-right YouTuber with 4 million subscribers, whose career consists of him reviewing footage of police officers shooting and killing people. He was once a cop himself, before he made more money making YouTube videos and retired. His content is very pro-state, pro-cop, pro-gun, and pro-death to people who don't share his beliefs propaganda.
That's not even true though. Like that's not even the case. He's not a far-right YouTuber. If anything, all he does is review police footage and be like, this guy fucked up, this guy did not fuck up, this guy should not have shot that person. Like, he will call cops dumbasses and be like, what is wrong with you? That guy was badly trained in his videos. Like, he does a pretty good job of that. He's not just like pushing propaganda, okay, being like every police killing is justified and they should murder all. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. And also, he doesn't advocate for like killing leftists. He doesn't think that. Have you done any research in this video at all? Like, I feel like if you're gonna try to make these points, you could just construct it a little bit better. Like, do like an extra hour and you would have a much better video.
For example, one of his videos videos is titled "Predator Takes Shotgun to the Face" and features a picture of him smiling in the corner of the thumbnail next to an image of a terrified man about to be executed by cops, with the text that reads, "Head removal."
Head removal. I mean, if he's a predator, I don't really care. 3.5 minutes. This is how you get views. You put head removal in the fucking thumbnail.
Hi everyone, Donut here. We got a couple of shootings for you today. The main shooting just warms my heart.
And you know, for someone who supposedly is so very anti-government, Wendigoon seems very comfortable with a man who makes his living worshipping violence committed by the state.
Worshipping violence committed by the state. I mean, you can make jokes about these situations without completely supporting like everything that the police do and everything the government does. I think if you had an in-depth conversation with Donut Operator, you would have a very hard time making the case that he is completely pro-state.
He's a man of no conviction, claiming to be very against the government and for the rights of the people, while at the same time giving a warm embrace to one of the biggest fascist bootlickers on the internet.
Okay, fascist bootlicker is retarded. And secondly, can you not be friends with people you disagree with? Even if, let's say hypothetically, I gotta take my Herdecki out for this one, wintergreen flavor, I'm going crazy. Let's say, hypothetically, Donut Operator is actually very pro-cop and agrees with everything the cops do. Can you not talk to him? Can you not take a picture with him? Can you not be friends with someone who you disagree with and find common ground? Is that impossible? Oh, it's impossible for you, obviously, because all of your friends need to agree with everything you say and everything you do, and you have to agree with everything they say and everything they do.
And the only thing that one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he too is a fascist bootlicker himself.
That's the only thing you can gather? The only thing you can gather is he's a fascist bootlicker. You can't just gather that he's friends with a fucking guy and likes to go shooting with him? Seriously? The only thing you can gather is that he's a fascist. This guy sucks.
He has collaborated with Nick Crowley, who constantly makes money through the most morbid and shameful true crime content of showcasing the last minutes of people before they are suddenly and unexpectedly killed. Crowley is similar to Wendigoon, in that on the surface they seem fairly edgy, but clean enough. But then you notice that he follows less than 200 people on Twitter, and among them are the same circle with names like Wendigoon, Plagued Moth, Turkey Tom, Mr. Ballin, and Donut Operator. Wendigoon has collaborated with Plagued Moth, a completely shameful content creator who reviewed snuff films on his Patreon before it was taken down, and has been accused of showing genuine gore content to minors on Discord.
Why is everything like accused? Like, why can't you just figure out if that's true? Why must everything be an accusation? Like, couldn't you like research these individual topics for this video? I feel like it's not that hard to try to figure out if it's true or false, you know? Like, if you wanted N-word Tom clips, you could have found it like that. Why didn't you do that? It must just be genuine laziness. Maybe he spent too much money on the green screen. He didn't have money to research or something. I don't really know, but it seems kind of crazy. For the record, Plagued Moth is a crazy person, is definitely a crazy person. And I think if you asked Wendigoon about it, he would probably regret doing that collab with him. But once again, like, you can do collabs with people who you don't necessarily agree with, who you don't like the most, okay? Plagued Moth is somewhat exploitative in his content. I wouldn't totally disagree. He's also just a nut job, right? But at the same time, he did a live stream with this guy. Guys, he did a live stream with this guy. What the f? Who cares?
And whose main YouTube channel consists of him reviewing censored videos of horrible acts of real-life violence and death. He is publicly friends with Shoe on Head.
Once again, being friendly with a YouTuber or being friends with them does not mean that you support everything they do. It probably just means that you liked a video they made or something. That's all it means.
Who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist, who has built a career off of lazy anti-woke content, complaining about SJWs. Who says stuff like, Karl Marx rising from the grave, finding out his movement has been taken over by fat, ugly, mentally ill losers.
I mean, he's right. I mean, look at the guy on screen right now, I'm just saying.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening.
Okay, so he's talking about Brandon. Why is he showing a picture of Brandon with his grandfather who just got out of the hospital after like having brain bleeding? Why is this the picture he's using out of anything? Like, you could have used any picture. You could have used literally any picture and you use this one? It's a little weird, bro. It's a little weird. Especially if you're calling out people for like being edgy or like being mean or something. And then your first time showing this guy is a picture of him happy about the fact his grandfather just got out of the hospital after he got injured. Like, that, it seems weird.
Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber. A gun YouTuber.
A gun YouTuber? Has this guy done any research at all? Like, I think he genuinely didn't look into anything. Like, dude, he's not a gun YouTuber. I think he's done like 1 or 2 videos where he shot guns and I was present for it. The rest of his videos have nothing to do with firearms at all. Did you even try? In Praise of Shadows, Gabe, did you even try? Did you even try to make this video. If you're gonna make a video basically claiming that somebody is a far-right fascist, potentially a neo-Nazi, you're gonna claim that he's responsible for the deaths of multiple people basically because he was in a group chat, you need to be able to back it up a little better than this lazy research, you bastard. You deserve to be broke, motherfucker. You're not even trying.
He is friends with Oompaville, a gun-obsessed content creator that has taken advantage of Nikocado Avocado's mental decline for fame and for money.
What the is wrong with you? Nikocado Avocado knows exactly what he's doing. Took advantage of him for content? Nikocado Avocado is a grown adult who can agree to do what he wants and make videos the way he wants. He collabed with a fat idiot, so therefore he took advantage of him? Oh my god, bro. What the are you talking about, you fucking Nikocado Avocado is a fucking adult. Mental decline my ass, you broke bitch. You broke ass bitch. We're really going out on a limb for Nikocado Avocado of all people. A guy who's clearly fully self-aware of what he's doing and is a legal adult who agreed to be in a YouTube video with Oompaville. Get your fucking head checked. Jesus Christ. Did you look into any of this at all? Do you know anything about any of this shit you're talking about? You should put your head back up your own ass and talk about how Scream 3 is the greatest movie of all time or something. Get the fuck off my screen.
And on top of that, has made content with the human trafficker, Andrew Tate.
Can he not interview a controversial person? Look, I don't like Andrew Tate, but you can interview him. You can have a conversation with him. You're not a piece of shit because you talked to a guy who is bad. What is wrong with you? And also, that interview, in fairness, was before all of this shit about him came out and all of the greater accusations and the whole trial and everything in Romania. I think Andrew Tate probably, based on what I've seen, should be in jail. But Oompaville's not responsible for that. He's not a cop. He's a fucking YouTuber.
He is friends with Mudahar.
Why do you say it like that? Mudahar. It's Mudahar. He is friends with Mudahar. Can we start saying Mudahar? He makes me Mudahar, I can tell you that.
Who argued against Andrew Tate being deplatformed from social media websites, and has recently showcased a great deal of transphobia in his most recent video.
No way! No way! Dude, this guy's a fucking loser! Oh my god, he's defending Keffals? Oh my god.
Holy shit.
He has publicly interacted in a friendly way with the account Rock Solid on multiple occasions. And with just a quick look at their profile, I saw them liking anti-trans posts and neo-Nazi content.
Was Hitler autistic? He was stimming? He liked that? Is that the problem? But is this because they're saying Hitler was stimming? That's the Nazi content? And once again, all he did was interact with like a meme account on Twitter. I follow that guy. I don't follow him because he like posts right-wing memes. I think he just posts soy jacks once in a while and I like that. People just like following meme accounts on Twitter.
He interacts positively with Disclose.tv, a far-right propaganda website that uses hate speech, engages in Holocaust denialism, and platforms neo-Nazis.
Oh, I'm very sorry that he interacted with the Twitter account. That proves that he denies the Holocaust. Guys, he responded to someone's tweets, and that means he supports everything they say. That means he likes everything they say, and that means that he's in complete support of literally everything under the sun involving it. Like, this is so dumb. Also, Mudahar is not transphobic. Mudahar's video was not transphobic. He used ugly art of Keffals, yes, but I would argue that has less to do with Keffals being trans and more to do with, you know, just how Keffals looks. And if you actually watch the video, there's no transphobia. Mudahar undoubtedly supports trans rights. He just criticizes Keffals for being a con artist who funded a website that sent hormones to children. Like, did you look into any of this at all? Did you look into any of this, Gabe? It seems like you really didn't. It seems like you didn't do an iota of research. It shouldn't be this easy for me to watch your video and be like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong.
This is very bad, bro.
He has appeared in content with Mr. Gunzengear, whose Twitter bio reads, dedicated to restoring the civil rights of Americans. But despite that, he's tweeted negatively about trans people many times. He has interacted positively with Garant Thumb, who has said, the traditional family should be encouraged and strengthened. I see little to no support from the government or big media. He has said anti-trans statements. He has called people degenerates, and has said that non-traditional sexual interactions are a disgusting, hedonistic lifestyle. That is the breakdown of the family unit.
I didn't know that about that guy, damn. I mean, look, if that's what he thinks, you should criticize him for that. Wendigoon interacting with him is not evidence that he has literally any of those views whatsoever. And if you actually watch his videos, you'll never find a video where Wendigoon is talking about how it's a bad thing to be trans and being gay is evil. He doesn't say that. He doesn't talk about that. He makes videos about horror movies. So shut the f up.
Wendigoon is publicly friends with Brandon Herrera, who has made jokes that implied that he was sympathetic with public shooters who killed Leftist, and collaborated with Kyle Rittenhouse, who has posted images of himself with an MP40, which is a gun used by the Nazis, that he described as the original ghetto blaster.
Now you better get your stank asses up out of here before I cause a nuclear holocaust up in here, fool. Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
I mean, why is this guy making this? How could he not laugh at that? Why is he making this fucking smug little gay face at this? Like, it is the original ghetto blaster on Phonotep's grave. Get real with it, bro. The Nazis were listening to DMX when they blitzkrieged into France, okay? X gonna give it to you. I'm just saying, they were doing that. Look at the records, bro. Look at the fucking pigment. If you go on the Tom IRL channel, I'm pretty sure there's video of me shooting it in that video. Let's see if I can find the MP40 footage, because I know it's in here.
It's just shooting 9mm. There's like 0 recoil. So a true transferable MP40 is gonna cost you like 78K.
The Allies are coming over the border.
I don't condone. And now you're ready to fire. So
Even though it's open?
it's an open bolt machine. Pull the trigger, it's out of the way, bolt flies forward, put it on target, and remember, it's a machine. Enjoy it.
That gun was sick, by the way. There was like no recoil at all. Same shirt. Oh, I am wearing the same shirt, based. But yeah, there was literally no there was like no recoil on that gun at all. It was cool. But to be clear, I don't think Brandon Herrera likes that gun because it's a Nazi gun. It's just like it's a cool piece of technology, you know.
Or we could talk about the time that he stole art to use in promotional material for his videos, and then blamed it on his editorial team instead of just taking the responsibility.
Okay, I really don't see how that is like related to any of this. Why are you using the thumbnail I made as a part of your thumbnail? This is a teaser image put together for fun. Apologies for not asking. Here's the actual thumbnail. I'll delete the previous tweet. Wait, so he made it right away. So I don't really see the problem. And also, like, he didn't do anything wrong. And how is this related to anything else? Is this guy just like pulling every little thing he can possibly throw onto the pile to be like, this is why this is a bad guy?
The Wendigo is a negative spiritual symbol that is to be avoided and whose name is to never even be said out loud or written down.
We're not.
So I know there's a bit of a hypocrisy there on my part. But we kind of do have to say it for academic purposes, so apologies for that. Starting with Algernon Blackwood's horror short story called The Wendigo. People have for hundreds of years taken the creature and used it for their own means, including Wendigoon in his very name, which is something that indigenous people have been very critical with him now for years.
Okay, if one more of these f***ing white f***ing screaming to the top of their f***ing lungs for minorities does this, I will blow my f***ing brains out on YouTube. I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my god, I'm so f***ing suicidal. These f***ing morons. Oh my god, it's a f***ing YouTube name. Oh, why is his name Turkey Tom? It's offensive to the people of Turkey. People in Turkey don't like it. Shut the f*** up, you f***ing moron. Dumbass.
And also on top of that, just...
and also on top of that. and also on top of that. Bro, if I ever make any kind of phrase or gesture like that, somebody please acquire my docs, drive to my house, drive the car through the front of my house, and piss in my butthole until I fill up and explode. Please just do it to me, because I can't stand this guy. and also, oh, by the way. Shut up.
Gosh, something wrong here.
Right in the midst of this going on, a very funny thing happened, and that Wendigoon followed me on Twitter. I was not following him at the time. He never publicly told people to stop calling me a friend. He never once reached out to me privately, but he did this and said, not that I have a stake in this whatsoever, but this is such a non-statement that doesn't even address any of the issues that folks are criticizing him for. Someone using their religion as a shield in the same breath as claiming that they believe in nothing politically is a red flag. Oh, I'm just a goofy, wholesome boy. Please don't ask me why I follow less than 500 people and one of them was Kyle.
So he like called him out on Twitter a while ago, okay.
Rittenhouse. Don't ask me about all the guns that I post pictures of. I promise I have no strong beliefs. Apolitical, really. Why are you slandering me? I really only care about this because if you have that large of a platform and make your money from being a public persona, then you are no longer fully a private person.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't try to maintain your privacy if you can. Like, you're not responsible for what you do in your private life publicly. Like, it's not anybody's business, frankly, unless you're like seriously harming someone. Like, he's Christian, therefore he's homophobic. Just say it.
You can't get mad if people call you unquestionable things that are said or done if you are making money off.
You can't get mad if people call you unquestionable things that are done or said if you're making money off. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, so by the way, you make money online, therefore we're able to slander you.
For them. And what resulted from some good faith criticism.
You're such... I mean, some people got mad at you, but that's not his responsibility that some fans are mean to you, bro. You can insult me all you want, but you mess with my Pookie Bear, you get another thing coming, pal. Your parents aren't entitled to know everything about you just because you're a public figure. What a brain dead take. They're not entitled to know anything. They're only entitled to know what you reveal to them. Otherwise, like, I think you should generally try to respect YouTubers' privacy if you can, you know? Like, I don't really talk about my personal life and my personal feelings on my streams and my content. I don't really talk about my relationships, you know, the guys I obviously every day because I'm gay. I don't talk about that on my streams because it's my private info. Like, you guys don't need to know. In the same way that Wendigoon doesn't need to constantly justify himself to these people because they're mad about, I don't know, the fact he was in a group chat 7 years ago. I don't think he has to make any kind of statement on any of this, to be honest.
If you're a public figure who is being criticized publicly, and the only people who come to your defense are Nazis, then that can only be read as two ways.
So I guess I'm a Nazi. Brandon Buckingham is a Nazi. Brandon Herrera's a Nazi. Donut Operator is a Nazi. Anyone who defends him is a Nazi, by the way. Also, to be clear, just because you say the F slur doesn't mean you're a Nazi, okay? That doesn't make you a Nazi. You can be, but it doesn't necessarily make you one. Just saying. Just saying. I think when I used to paint my nails, I think my dad was like, hey, Tom, what's up with the, you know, that whole thing? And I think he used that word. And I was like, whoa, you're right. When you're right, you're right.
And if anyone ever criticized me, and people's reaction to it was to immediately start using hate speech, I would shut that shit down so fast.
What do you mean shut that shit down? Like you make a tweet being like, hey guys, don't do that. Do you think that's really gonna stop them? Do you think a guy who's willing to go out of his way to message you and call you an F slur, okay? Do you think that guy's really gonna be hindered by Wendigoon? Has Wendigoon ever done that? Has he ever encouraged that kind of behavior? Oh, wait, he hasn't. Huh, that's weird. I wonder why that is. It must be because he's racist and he's dog whistling that he wants that to happen.
I think that most decent people who work online would do the exact same. And if they don't want to be seen as a big group of Nazis, then let's see how they react to this video's existence. Because I am certain they will be very level-headed about all of this.
It has nothing to do with Nazism. Your video is bad. And your video is not level-headed. Your video is like calling a large YouTuber with a large following basically a far-right terrorist supporter. Do you not expect there to be pushback for that?
He never once reached out to me privately, but he did follow me, which means in my eyes that he 100% knew what was happening because I did tweet about it several times, and then followed me to let me know that he knew, and that he was watching, and that he intended to do nothing to stop it.
Is it not possible that he just didn't see your tweets? It's not like your tweets are getting millions of likes. It's not like you have a giant Twitter account. All he did was follow you. He probably just liked one of your videos and wanted to see your tweets. What the fuck is wrong with you? This guy's mind is actually mush. You guys think I'm crazy on this stream. Look at like the schizophrenic ramblings going on inside his mind. He's like, he followed me, and I knew that it couldn't have been a good thing. He couldn't have enjoyed one of my videos. What it means is that he was watching, and he liked that they called me the F slur. He supported it. He was letting me know that he was watching, and he was cool with it. Like, what the? Why are you so schizo, dude? You need to go outside. Like, I don't like to say this because I'm terminally online, but you seriously need to go outside, bro. You need to venture into the great unknown, the great outdoors, okay? You seriously do, because I think the internet is like, I almost feel bad for him because he's so schizo.
Why else would he follow me in that exact moment? He has never interacted with a single one of my posts. Not one like, not one comment. We are not friends. But he does follow me. He follows next to nobody on Twitter. What other motivation could he have had there to follow me in that specific moment?
Doesn't he follow like hundreds of people on Twitter? Isn't it possible he just liked one of your videos or something? He follows 480 people on Twitter. Like, he follows a lot of people. Is it not possible he just liked one of your videos or something? Dude's got less tests than 3 piss ants.
Other than to be a method of quiet and deniable intimidation. What other way could that have been read from my perspective?
Literally any other way. That's like the least likely option. That's the most schizophrenic option. The most likely is like, he saw one of your videos, maybe he saw your tweet and he wanted to talk to you about it, but you didn't follow him back. Like, there could be literally any other possibility.
If you think it was entirely coincidental, which he may argue it was, then I've got a sack of magic beans I'd like to sell to you. That was the moment that pushed me over the edge to make this video. There are other very public instances from him of transphobia and homophobia. Like when he allegedly said, calling Chris Chan, a man who mutilated his body with a box cutter because 4chan said he was a girl, holds a deep hatred for men and most women, decided to be a girl so that he could hook up with lesbians, and now abused his mom. She is disrespectful to and delegitimizes trans people. Like he.
I mean, that's all true, though. Do you really want Chris Chan to be the face of the trans movement? He personally mutilated himself by like cutting between his dick and his ass. Like, he like cut his taint open to have like a neo vagina. Like, and also Chris is not like a good representative for trans people. Should you be respecting someone's trans identity if they're clearly doing it for the wrong reasons? Probably not.
Very publicly straight married Christian cis man somehow is the
He's straight and married and is a cis man. Oh my god, the horror.
authority on what legitimizes a trans person's identity.
Can you not talk about subjects? Can you not talk about things? Do you have to be trans to talk about being trans? A trans person talking about a cis person would never get this, by the way. Like, if a trans person was like, I hate cis people, this guy would be like, that's cool, that's fine, yeah, that's base, you know, it comes from oppression. But if a cis person said I hate trans people, he'd be like, that's transphobic, ban him off the internet. He's probably friends with Wendigoon, by the way.
He has tried to cover this up and has denied that it happened, but I think there's enough evidence to say that it
He's trying to cover it up and has denied that it happened?
most likely did. One user said at one point, he's been constantly misgendering her on Twitter despite being corrected numerous times. To which when
It's Chris Chan.
Wendigoon said, "Show me one time I misgendered her on Twitter. Actually, please don't watch my content if you're going through my replies and monitoring followers, who may just be unaware of Christian's entire lore. Perhaps people just not knowing something doesn't mean that they're a transphobe." But if we go back and look at old screenshots from this time, you can see that this account is quote tweeting Wendigoon's transphobic tweet, but if you go to that account today, that post is now quote tweeting a deleted tweet, which to me shows that more than likely Wendigoon went mask off with his transphobia, and then deleted the tweet sometime afterwards, when he realized that people would be mad about it. But there's a very small chance that this is not true because I did not take the original screenshot, so make of that what you will. We could talk about the time that Nyx Fears did a video about the disturbing movie Iceberg, who is a great horror trans creator, and I really hope that she's not mad at me for mentioning her here, because I think she's very cool and you should definitely go read her books. But Wendigoon famously did a very popular video on that particular Iceberg challenge as well, and in the comments of her video, he said, "We will be watching your career with great interest," which is just kinda gross, because in a way it is similar to him following me. It is him telling her that he sees that she's doing similar content to him, and his presence in the comments is undercutting her video, while he also at the same time seemingly makes it look like he supports trans people.
I don't know if I even have to say this. First of all, commenting on a trans person's video saying you like it does not necessarily mean you're pro or anti-trans. It is an apolitical thing. He says, "We'll be watching your career with great interest," meaning he liked their video. That's all that means. Secondly, you can make YouTube videos about things that other people have made videos about. You're not undercutting them. There's not a finite amount of views online where, like, if you make a video about one topic, no one else is going to watch the other person's video. If you do a different execution, if you make a different video, people will watch it. This guy is actually like schizo.
Like in the responses to his comment, people are saying things like, "Wendigoon says trans rights," while meanwhile he's simultaneously tweeting about Christian multiple times. We could talk about another time where someone
I don't even know that Wendigoon tweet is real, that old one, but frankly, I don't respect Christian's trans identity either.
made a YouTuber gay sex alignment chart and put Wendigoon as a sub bottom, to which he responded to them and said, "What did I do to hurt you?" Which, you know, clearly is a joke, but also the worst kinds of straight guys when they make jokes related to queerness, almost exclusively direct the punchline at femme gays and bottoms, because they view them as lesser than masculine tops.
He just didn't want to be... He just made a joke about the YouTuber gay sex chart, bro. Okay? That's all he did. Yeah, sometimes, yes, it is, sometimes it's funny to joke about the fact that somebody put you on a chart which implies you get up the ass. Yes, it is a funny joke, because he's a married man, and the idea that somebody will be plowing him in the ass is funny, so he made a joke about it. It doesn't mean he's homophobic.
He has multiple times said that he supports queer people, but I think his actions in private clearly paint a different picture. He once tweeted, saying, "I do not care if someone is gay or straight. Sexuality is no one's business but the individual. Don't make assumptions. I make an effort to stay away from politics and social issues." Which, first off,
Thanks for the 10, Pript.
equating sexuality with politics kind of already shows what you kind of think of the issue.
It doesn't show what you think of the issue at all. It just means he doesn't want to weigh in on it. Sexuality is inherently, like these days, like with the culture war going on, it is like a political issue.
As we have seen, everything that he does has deep political motivations, and to argue that he's just a
Everything he does has deep political motivations. And as we have seen, we have not seen that.
horror YouTuber is comical. Far-right figures are often the only ones who hide their harm under a false shield of wanting to seem like they have no strong beliefs at all, because their real views are so socially abhorrent. And the thing that people kept saying to me in all of this was, "Why do you even care?" Which, if you watch the comments under the video, I guarantee you will happen again, with takes like, "Oh, he's just a YouTuber. Why does it matter?" Or, "So what if he's a conservative? Is that a problem?" Which, the answer to that is yes. But the reason that I care...
Okay. I think we've had enough from this video. I think Wendigoon left a comment on the video or something. He said, "Please, no one harass or comment rude things on my behalf. I don't agree with or condone meanness in any way. If you're here to leave a spiteful remark on my behalf, don't. Nothing good comes from anger. I want to apologize for people saying awful things to you on Twitter. I did not know this was happening and don't stand by the behavior. I followed you because I saw your Slenderman video and enjoyed it, then saw you in my recommended follows. It sounded like you strongly dislike me, and that's okay. But if I've done anything to cause that, I apologize. If I've ever spoken against you without cause or made any joke at your expense, I'm sorry. I did not follow you to harass you, but if that contributed in any way, I wish I could take it back. You don't have to like me, but I hope you don't feel I have ill will against you. There's a lot you assumed incorrectly about me, but that's to be expected. I try to keep my life private in what ways I can, and my friends mentioned in the video can take up for themselves. I'll only point out that your assertion about Brandon Buckingham is particularly egregious because the lie regarding a threat was made up by Sneeko when Brandon called him out on his behavior. I know you wouldn't support an internet figure like Sneeko, but you inadvertently did by not checking the source. I've made similar mistakes. Most YouTubers have at one point or another, but harmful allegations spread when people parrot rather than decipher data. I've said things in the past I do not agree with, and am now learning to better myself daily, and each day find myself more in the wrong. I'm sorry for the things I've said to bring hurt or strife onto any person or people. May God forgive me. I hope you're successful. The Slenderman video is great, and I hope you don't find myself or my audience impeding your career. And again, if you're here to leave a comment for me, don't be." Seems like a pretty mature response. I mean, considering the guy spent an hour trying to make him look like a Nazi, but yeah, you know, he was about as nice as he could be, all things considered. Like, I can't imagine him being nicer than that. Jesus. I like that he stuck up for Brandon. That was good. So Brandon tweeted, hey, going through every one of Wendigoon's friends and insulting them to try to paint him in a bad light makes you seem more like a desperate and pathetic freak. You seem like you have low testosterone. It could be making you moody. Try exercising and shooting guns. I mean, true. Also, using a photo of my grandpa after his brain surgery is super cool of you. You seem like a great guy. I want to shake your hand. So he made a thread. A thread about the last few days. Many people have said very fair criticism of me and my work, that I did not appropriately portray people, and I'd like to address that. To Brandon, I do need to apologize to you for two things. The first, you're right. It was wrong for me to use that picture. I included it to show that you and Wendigoon had a closeness. There are other images I could have used to demonstrate that. For what it is worth, I'm genuinely sorry. The second is I did not do my due diligence when looking into allegations against you. To be honest, I saw pictures of you with Turkey Tom, with Donut Operator, with Wendigoon, with Brandon Herrera, and often with a gun in your hand. I wrote you off. I did not feel you were worth my time, and that was a result of the company you keep. Ultimately, that's falling on me, though, and how I presented that. You using homophobic language to me, though, and calling me a low testosterone freak does not change my opinions about you. My base thoughts remain the same, even though I should have said them differently and not let that cloud my writing. I mean, it's not homophobic. Is this guy gay? I have no... is he gay? I honestly thought he was straight. Maybe he is gay and I'm wrong, but... To Mudahar, your thumbnail was transphobic. I have nothing else to say to that. It wasn't. I always try to do my best. I dropped the ball here in regards to how I presented this. You didn't just drop the ball on how you presented this. It was like a fucking horrible video, bro. The presentation, it wasn't just the presentation. It was like the research was bad. The basis of your video, which before the writing is the research, was dog shit. Not only were your points bad, not only did I disagree with them, not only was it extreme reaching, like you were just wrong. You were just wrong. You couldn't even properly call me a racist. I try to live my life with integrity. Well, you didn't do that very properly. My heart was in the right place. No, it wasn't, motherfucker. You're envious. I was overcome with anger because I think it's incredibly dangerous that there's a man in horror that you cannot criticize without being called an F slur. You can criticize him without being called an F slur. You can criticize Wendigoon. But I did let my anger affect my overall quality in the presentation of these events. I still think it's dangerous. I think it should be talked about, but I should have worked at this to make my thoughts more clear and professional. You should never speak again. Oh, this is so long. Brandon said I had no idea you were a homosexual. I was calling you a low testosterone freak for being a miserable, moody asshole who basically slandered me in an attempt to demonize a close friend of mine. You literally said Wendigoon should be banned from public spaces. Pretty homophobic of you to believe that only men with low T are gay. True. I didn't know you were gay. I didn't know he was gay, to be honest. Or maybe he's not and he just doesn't, well, maybe we knew. Never mind. Anyway, criticism equals homophobia. Why are they like this? Well, it's because when you get pushback online, I think a lot of people haven't weathered the storm before in terms of like commentary stuff. So they're not used to the fact that like when you call out someone on YouTube, some people will be mean on their behalf, even if the person in question wouldn't like that, you know what I mean? So like undoubtedly when people call me out on YouTube, I've gotten a bunch of crazy DMs and shit. Like when the Twitter stuff was going on, because I made the problems with Palestine, I got a few DMs on Instagram of people being like, we're working on your doc slow, bro. You're going to get swatted soon. And I just ignored it. Like I just ignored it because it was like, most of these people are not going to do anything. Right. But I'm used to that. I'm used to this kind of shit going on. This kind of person is not. And he's a lot more sensitive. I mean, you can kind of tell by the video, you know, I don't think he's dealt with like internet shit before. So when that happens, his instinct is not like, oh, this is crazy people, whatever. They're not part of the conversation. His instinct is that hurt my feelings also as Wendigoon's fault. That's basically how he thinks about it. But yeah, I mean, that was a pretty bad video, if you ask me. That was pretty horrendous, pretty trash. I don't know why, like, I don't know why the reaching went so far, and I also don't know why that was included in this video, which is mostly not about, like, anything related to... He's, like, reviewing horror movies made by conservatives that I guess he thinks are bad. Prime example of someone thinking they need to tear people down to build themselves up, or it's just self-sabotaging due to fear of success. I don't know what it is. I think he does genuinely believe what he's saying is the thing. I just think he's really dumb. I think he's really wrong. Talking about how being badly misrepresented affected you and then proceeding to misrepresent a dozen people is an interesting strategy. The Wendigoon section starts by accusing him of being too young to have the experience to cover horror stories, then goes on to attack him for every time he's changed his opinion on something or made a mistake and try to move on from it, which is exactly what a young person does as they grow up. Hell, it's all we do throughout our lives. It seems bizarre to me to start that way and then essentially attempt a character assassination of him. Yeah. Every YouTuber, essayist, especially me, gets things wrong sometimes. On big projects, we'll always have something fall through the cracks, a fact or a date or idea that seems correct, but on release, it's immediately brought to our attention we were wrong. And while we'll kick ourselves for those errors forever, that's okay. We put up a correction, apologize for the mistake, and try to do better next time. We're humans, that's all we can do. But there's a significant amount of leaps in logic, context removal, and outright misleading claims in this video. I don't believe you would do this on purpose, which suggests to me you've gotten into a really negative political headspace due to those poor interactions on Twitter and social media. I sympathize with that, I really do. That's never fun fun to deal with. You don't deserve that, and it can fuck with your perspective on things, but it's not an excuse for poor research, twisting the truth, or attacking individuals based on a lot of debatable assumptions. And that's what a significant amount of this video includes. For someone who is so legitimately upset at how people misinterpret your arguments and statements to attack you, I'm sad to see you turn and do it to others without proper research and simple fact checking. For your own mental health, I hope you pull back from some of those online spaces, take a little more time, and refocus on your usually excellent thought-provoking content.
He has attempted to deflect from criticism over the use
Deflect my dick out of your butt. In conclusion, I just find it very embarrassing that this guy posted this video, didn't do any research, didn't even try to make it good, and basically just was like, listen, Wendigoon's a fascist. My proof? He follows people on Twitter, and he's friends with gun YouTubers, and he's friends with the guy who says the N-word. I'm sorry, that's not very good evidence. It's not very good at all. You know, obviously I have a bit of a bias here. I can't deny that because I'm friends with Wendigoon. I like him. And you're right. I did attend his wedding. I was there, and it was a very beautiful ceremony, and I'm very happy for him and his wife. And yeah, you know, I think he's a good dude. But Wendigoon and I don't agree on everything. I'll, you know, never agree on everything that, you know, anyone does, because that's not how people work. People are complicated. People have different beliefs. People think different things. Just because you talk to someone or take a picture with them doesn't mean you endorse and agree with everything they say. I feel bad for the fact that apparently my shenanigans once again got Wendigoon into trouble. You know, it's not the first time, and you know, I definitely feel bad for that. But at the same time, you know, as long as I'm his friend, I'm not gonna let people basically slander him on YouTube and do this little research. I'm sorry, I can't let it happen. I can't let it happen. This guy's a fucking dipshit. And I'm sorry you're broke, but given your videos are this bad, given that you're not even really trying, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe if you tried a little harder or a little more entertaining, did a little more research, maybe you'd actually make some money out of it. It's not anyone's fault but your own. You have 400,000 subscribers. You should be able to pull it together to pay for rent. And also, wait, he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt in this video. This guy's a fucking racist.
What's weirder, Wendigoon wearing a Hawaiian shirt because that's what he likes to wear, or this leftist wearing a Hawaiian shirt even though he thinks it's a racist dog whistle? Is this like Vosh's tactical N-word?
I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's video. Bye.